All right, Trumpers, come and get me. Hey, listen, I've just done some, little bit of shopping. I don't shop a whole lot, but I have done some shopping here, in Atlanta. And let me just go to tell you that prices of shit has went up because of Donald Trump. There's no two ways about it. I mean, listen here. I went into the mall here. I went into some golf stores because I'm a big golfer. For some of you don't know, Donald Trump has absolutely destroyed this country when it comes to the price of goods. The stuff that I used to buy for $200 and $300 is now $500 and $600 because of him, because he's destroyed this economy. Inflation has went up. Diesel prices have went up. It's out of control. But here's what I want you to notice. Look at some of these restaurants. There's nobody here. And this is a big area. There's nobody here. And I think one of the biggest reasons that this situation is happening here is because of what he's done to this administration. And this is going to continue to happen over and over and over if we don't eventually get him out of office and get him completely out of the sight so we can get inflation down. Inflation is what's killing this country, and it's going to continue to kill it. There's a lot of this construction has even stopped around here because of they can't afford it. They can't afford the diesel prices. They can't afford any of this stuff. And it's just continuing to drive this country down. And it's really sad. This is supposed to be one of the greatest countries, that's out there. Like, people come here to thrive, and we're actually
badly by a lot of presidents had no idea. The last one definitely had no idea. Do you think he walked in the office and said, "I don't like the shape of the columns"? I don't think so, Biden. Yeah, I don't like the shape of the columns. He didn't notice things like that.
You know, he actually said something truthful. It's true that other presidents like Biden, Obama, Bush, Reagan, the other Bush, none of them paid attention to things like this. Do you want to know why? Because they were actually paying attention to how to make the world a better place for Americans. You see, President Trump cares about the way things look, not actually the way things are. While Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, not able to feed their families or put gas in their car, going into medical debt if anything actually happens to them, instead of tackling those issues, our president wants his house to look nice. He wants to throw big parties and create a big ballroom and make the water outside look nice. He wants to put lavish gold everywhere. Most of the American people do not care about crap like that. They want healthcare that they can afford, or free healthcare. They want to be paid a wage that actually allows them to sustain life. They want to be able to put gas in their car and feed their families. Here's my suggestion to you, Trump. Why don't you leave the office and then go start a show on HGTV? You can remake other people's homes or remake your own home or do whatever, and people will tune in to give you all the attention you need.
Is why rural MAGA voters lose the most from school vouchers. I'll explain it slowly with some maps and math. Okay, this one is probably going to sting a little because you rural conservatives are being played the hardest in this whole school voucher circus. And I don't think you even realize it. So let's walk through it. School vouchers, they sound great to y'all on TV. Freedom, choice, escape failing schools. Cool. Now, quick question. How many private schools are within 30 miles of your rural town? Exactly. Most rural counties don't have private schools. They don't have charter networks. They don't have choice marketplaces. They have one school. One, and that school is the football stadium, the jobs hub, the community center, the emergency shelter, the tax base anchor. It's the heart of the town. Now here comes the voucher policy. State legislator passes it. Tax dollars get set aside for school choice. Urban, suburban families where private schools actually exist, they use it. Rural districts, they still only have one school, but now their state education budget is thinner. So the rural district loses funding. They don't gain options. That's not choice, that's extraction. Studies from groups like National Rural Education Association have warned that voucher expansion disproportionately harms rural districts because enrollment loss hits harder when you only have one school. You can't consolidate when you're already consolidated. You can't shop around when there's nothing to shop. And here's the brutal math. An urban district loses enrollment, it's annoying. A rural district loses enrollment, that might mean cutting teachers, cutting electives, cutting sports, and combining grades. Small districts operate on very thin margins. There's no cushion. And guess what else rural schools often have more of? Higher poverty rates, higher special education needs, longer bus routes, higher transportation costs. They are already expensive to operate per student. Now reduce funding and what happens? Programs disappear and the politicians say, see, it's inefficient. No, it's isolated. And here's the kicker. Voucher money overwhelmingly goes to metro areas because that's where private schools are. So rural taxpayers help fund private school tuition in cities while their own schools get weaker. You are subsidizing someone else's choice. That's the grift. And when rural schools close, towns shrink, property values drop, young families leave, businesses don't move in. The community erodes. Public schools are economic anchors. You rip them out and the town bleeds. Meanwhile, the same politician who pushed voucher campaigns on protecting rural America, protecting it from what? Its own school?
Look at the gas. I mean, every time I go to that gas pump, I get so upset inside. It's getting to the point where people cannot survive. They're getting 2 or 3 jobs to survive.
This isn't a casual voter expressing disappointment. This is someone with 2 decades of personal investment in Donald Trump as a political figure, who supported him before most of his current base discovered him, and who is now using the language of occupation and foreign influence to describe what she's watching. The specific claim that a foreign government is influencing American executive decisions reflects a sentiment that has been building within portions of the MAGA coalition as the Iran conflict has deepened and as the administration's Middle East posture has drawn scrutiny even from conservative commentators who were previously reliable supporters. What makes this politically significant isn't the specific accusation, it's the source. When people who built their public identity around loyalty to a leader begin using words like occupied and I don't recognize him, the signal isn't just personal disillusionment. It's the collapse of a political identity that was, for many, deeply tied to their sense of patriotism and self.
You didn't get a wall. You didn't drain the swamp. You didn't get affordable health care. You didn't eliminate the national debt. You didn't get new infrastructure. You didn't get Hillary Clinton locked up. You didn't get Epstein accountability. You didn't get a $5,000 Doge check. You didn't get a $2,000 stimulus check. You didn't get lower grocery prices. You didn't get help buying a home. You didn't get America first. You didn't even get peace. You lost family, friends, and credibility. So what did you gain?
The reason we're paying this much is because Donald Trump started a war. Someone said, how long will gas prices be high? He goes, for a little while, but it's okay. It's okay. It's worth it. Is it worth it? Tell me, is it? Donald. Oh, Donald, tell me, is it worth it? It's not.
What is your view about this? Because I've known Donald Trump a long time, and I'm struggling to not see this attack on Iran as potentially the biggest miscalculation of either of his presidencies, simply because it is going on already much longer than he indicated it would. And there's no apparent easy off-ramp for him now. And it's causing a lot of damage economically, politically. Militarily, America is superior, but even there, they're sustaining losses. And there are many people, even in the most fervent MAGA part of his support, who say, look, this guy campaigned on no more involvement in foreign wars, particularly in the Middle East. What is he doing? Staking everything on the biggest war imaginable in the Middle East.
Thank you so much for having me, Pierce. I've been a loyal supporter of the president for almost 20 years. This goes back to when I was 21 years old and I was Miss California at the Miss USA pageant. And I've known him. I consider him a dear friend. And I will tell you right now, I do not recognize our president. I think that we are an occupied nation. I think that a foreign country has occupied our government. And we are seeing now that this president of the United States of America is being influenced by a foreign government. And MAGA, let me tell you right now, MAGA is dead. It is deader than dead, and Americans are furious. We do not recognize President Donald J. Trump anymore.
I will end the devastating inflation crisis immediately, bring down interest rates, and lower the cost of energy.
We're going to bring those prices way down.
A vote for Trump means your groceries will be cheaper. Groceries, cars, everything. We're going to get the prices down. Starting on day one, we will end inflation and make America affordable again.
No.
Announced my intention to, and this is somewhat of a scoop, my intention to run for a 4th term as President of the United States.
Look, I wasn't going to mess around like I did last time and let my tank get to zero, get empty. I was on a half a tank. I needed 16 gallons. As you can see, I got 16 gallons or 16.277 gallons. That shit cost me $110.50. And that was on half a gallon. I only had half. I let my tank get half. I did not go to empty. And yes, I use 91. I have to use 91 in my car, but that's still ridiculous. A half a tank of gas still cost me $110. So when I told you guys I filled up and that shit was ridiculous. I'm in California and these gas taxes, somebody gonna have to do something about this. I understand we are at war, but gas was high anyway. Like I said, you got to be a gangster to live here in California and roll your car and get back and forth to where you want to go. Because at $110 for a half a tank of gas, what you gonna do? You guys see it right there at 91. I use 91 because I have to. Yes, I do have a beater, but I'm just showing you on this particular car, half a tank of gas. I spent $110.50.
Word to mommy, man. The next nigga that shoot at Trump, I'ma body them, man. Y'all wildin' out here, man. Y'all really wildin' out here, man.
Frankly, I refuse to care about dead people voting until we've addressed the half-dead people serving in Congress, as well as the half-dead president. Okay, he's brain dead. All right, if you agree, we need to get rid of that criminal in the White House who is destroying everything. Follow me, and let's 8647 and get rid of him. Hey, if Democrats were really, truly rigging elections, we'd have universal health care, gun control, a Democratic Supreme Court, high-speed rail networks, AI regulations, and affordable college by now. But, you know, gee, and let me see, what else? The Republicans have the House and the Senate, and they have criminal Trump. Jeez, how come we didn't rig it this time? Jeez, I don't know. If you agree, Trump and his administration have to go away. Follow me, and let's 8647 and get rid of that criminal. The United States is falling apart. Our produce is parasitic. Our water is full of bacteria and microplastics. Our cattle are being infected with screwworms. Our forests are on fire and our air is toxic. Okay, our communities are also being brutalized by ICE. The cost of everything is skyrocketing while wages are stagnant. And Trump started a war for no reason. And what is Trump doing now? He's crying about an election he lost 6 years ago and wants paper ballots being illegal. Like, he votes by paper ballot. Okay, it's only legal for him, I guess. Okay, if you agree that Trump needs to go away, follow me, and let's 8647 and get rid of that freaking criminal.
I'm extremely frustrated with the MAGAs because they don't seem to understand. Fox News is only feeding you what you want to hear about Trump. The fact is, it is an entertainment network and they will not tell you the news. They will not tell you everything bad that's happening. You need to watch real news. And what's currently happening right now is that the world is in a state of crisis. We are in a state of emergency. Australia hardly has no gas. We have truckers that are stranded out there with no fuel. Philippines has declared a state of emergency. In fact, they are shutting down buildings that they don't need, right? And basically rationing the gas. In some of the European nations, they have 1 to 2 weeks left of fuel. Here in America, it is anticipated that we're really going to see it at the end of May and absolutely by July 4th, just in time for America's 250th fucking anniversary. That was absolutely destroyed by a fucking orange twat. I am so fucking mad right now. Now, I know that it's very hard for the MAGAs to comprehend what comes down the fucking line if there's no fuel. I know that they're not able to comprehend how not having fuel means that you're not going to have food in the grocery stores and other items, that people are not able to go to work. How are we going to visit our loved ones? People in the hospital, into appointments, just a simple chore of going to the gym. Because you guys don't have the foresight, I'm not even going to go into it. I'm not going to give you any fucking clues of how to take care of yourself. But the real ones like me, they know. They know exactly what's coming down. And we're going to build our community. Fuck them.
Farmers across America helped propel Donald Trump back into the White House in November's election. And even in a state like deep blue California, which, by the way, produces over half of the food we consume here in the United States, those farmers in California also supported Donald Trump. Now, because of the Electoral College, their votes really don't matter all that much, but these farmers said, by God, I want Donald Trump up there. And a month and a half later, these very same farmers, according to a new report from Politico, are basically wetting their pants in fear because, oh God, Donald Trump's going to deport half of our workforce. They're acting like they've just discovered this, like this wasn't something that Donald Trump repeatedly said on the campaign trail, which he did.
Donald Trump, the greatest president ever. Listen to how bankruptcies are getting out of control under Donald Trump. You'll love it. Donald Trump is such a brilliant businessman, and he always wants to tell us how great the stock market is, and that's supposed to mean all the U.S. economy is going well. Well, it's not. Let me talk about bankruptcies, personal, corporate, and farm bankruptcies that are going on in the United States under Donald Trump. We're going to see how good it is. Personal bankruptcies at the end of 2025 for the year were up 11.2% under Donald Trump. That's December 2025. They were up 11.2%. Then through March of 2026, if you go back to the previous 12 months, again, because that's the latest numbers I have right now, according to the U.S. courts, they were then up 11.9%. So the number of bankruptcies were escalating as we get more into 2026 under Donald Trump's leadership. That's a really good job, Donald Trump. You're getting that number up, except Donald Trump, more bankruptcies is not a good thing. And somebody that's had 6, you should know. Let's talk about corporate bankruptcies, something Donald Trump really knows something about. Corporate bankruptcies under Donald Trump during the year 2025 increased 7.1% over 2024. That means it got worse under Donald Trump, not better. Likewise, through March of 2026, we see that the corporate bankruptcies also escalated to 11.4%. So they almost doubled under that same time frame, going back the previous 12 months under Donald Trump. Not a good thing, Donald Trump. Corporate bankruptcies going up. Now let's talk about farm bankruptcies. Donald Trump's leadership, farm bankruptcies, and this is the year 2025, increased 46%. What, Donald Trump? 46%. Again, I don't have any other numbers because that's the last of the numbers I can find for farm bankruptcies according to the U.S. court system. You know, under Donald Trump, the farmers right now, they're proposing in the House a $12 billion bailout because Donald Trump's tariffs hurt the farmers tremendously. They lost all their business because of it. And then because of the Iran war, they can't get fertilizer and can't afford fertilizer nor their diesel fuel. So Donald Trump got them on every way possible on that. No wonder farm bankruptcies are up 46%. Donald, you are doing a great job. All those numbers are going up under you except Donald Trump. More bankruptcies is not a good thing. MAGA, please blame this one on somebody else. Jump all over everybody. And I love all of your personal things that you say about me have absolutely nothing to do with the facts of the situation. Under Donald Trump, the business situation is getting worse. More personal bankruptcies, corporate bankruptcies, and more family bankruptcies. Thank you, Donald Trump. You are such a great leader. You are just brilliant.
MAGA is having a meltdown right now, and Donald Trump is the reason, as he has betrayed his America First policies. Now, if you missed it, Donald Trump sent $20 billion to Argentina to help them through an economic difficulty and to try to limit Chinese influence on the country. And how did Argentina repay us? By immediately selling millions in soybeans to China, stealing U.S. soybean market. And MAGA is losing it because this is not what Donald Trump promised. He promised we would put America first. And now, because of his trade war that he has no plan to win, no idea how to win, he is betraying all of his promises. But think of this. MAGA, farmers, 2 voting blocks for Donald Trump are both losing in this situation. So the question has to be asked. How many more times will you believe Donald Trump? How many more times will you believe Republicans before you realize they're lying to you, except when they say they don't care about you, they just want your vote?
Okay, now, so with the current situation going on right now with MAGA feel betrayed, so I want to quickly share my own opinion on this. So in my own opinion, one of the biggest risks in politics is believing that one leader can solve every economic problem. I think that is exactly what is happening with many Trump supporters. So because most of Trump supporters believed prosperity was just around the corner, and for many of them, that promise become a source of real hope. So I don't really blame people for hoping. It's good because they really love him. That's why they support him till he become elected. But now things is changing. I really understand that. But if you have watched your factory close, your town shrink, or your family struggle to make end meet, you will naturally support the person who says, I'm going to fix this. But hope and reality are not even the same thing. So let's look at where we are today. I think many people expected lower prices, stronger local economics, and more financial security. So instead, some families are still dealing with expensive groceries, higher house costs, rising insurance bills, and uncertainty about the future. Now, to be fair, I don't think that is entirely Donald Trump's fault. I don't support Donald Trump, or I'm not against him, Donald Trump. So I'm just trying to explain something. So based on my own opinion. So no president ever controls every part of the economic. So no president controls every part of the economy. Global events, inflation, interest rates, supply chains, and decisions made by Congress all play a crucial role. However, I also believe that when politicians make bold promises, they should be judged by whether ordinary people actually feel the benefit. So that is where I think frustration begins. So if you are losing your or let me say, if you are still working two jobs, if your paycheck doesn't stretch as far as it normally used to be, if your small business is struggling, eventually you stop listening to campaign speeches and start looking at your own bank account first before you start doing rallies for anybody or start supporting any president of your choice. So eventually, in my own opinion, that is exactly what many voters are doing. Politics can create excitement during election, but everyday life is what determines whether people stay loyal. One thing I find interesting is that many people assume if someone criticizes Trump's economic record, it means that they suddenly support Democrats. I don't think that. I don't think that is I don't think that's true. Let me say, I think many Americans simply want whichever leader that can make life more affordable. So they are not after the political drama. They are just asking for results. Either Donald Trump or anybody, they are just asking for results. They want cheaper groceries. They want to buy affordable fuels. They want more job opportunities. They want a future where their children can actually buy a home. Those concerns doesn't belong to one political party. They belong to everyday Americans. That is why I believe politicians should spend less time fighting each other and more time solving practical problems. Because at the end of the day, the voters doesn't deposit political speeches into their bank account. They deposit paychecks. So if those paychecks are not keeping up with the cost of living, disappointment is almost unavoidable, regardless of who is in the president's villa, which is the White House. So in my own opinion, that is not really a story about Trump alone. It is the reminder that politicians earn trust with promises, but they keep trust with results. And if the result doesn't match the expectation, people will naturally begin asking difficult questions, even if they were once the strongest supporters before. So that is simply how democracy is supposed to be working. But that is just my own opinion. Do you think some MAGA supporters feel disappointed because their expectations were too high, or because the economic results simply have not been matched the promises? I would love to hear from your own perspective in the comment section below. See you in my next time, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to join the family. Catch you next time, guys. Thanks for watching.